make a little homemade wood stabilizer. I've got this bowl here that I've rough turned, and it's got a lot of punky soft wood in it. And a friend of mine told me a way to make a sanding or a wood stabilizer out of lacquer sanding sealer and lacquer thinner. And he said just make it and paint it over it until it quits soaking it in, and then it should stabilize that wood where you'll be able to get a smooth cut like that on it. So what I've got just a little measuring cup here. I've got a clean jar. So I think I'm just going to mix up maybe, we'll do 10 ounces. I'll do 5 ounces of each. I've already kind of shook this up. And this is just minwax lacquer sanding sealer. I use a water-based sanding sealer on a lot of other stuff, and I really like it. I've never used the lacquer, but I don't typically use lacquer finishes, so I use the water-based. But okay, I went a little more at 7 ounces, so we'll go with that. Doesn't really matter. It just needs to be 50-50 on your percentage. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour, so I've got 7 ounces of the lacquer sanding sealer. Then I need to get 7 ounces of the lacquer thinner. I've seen a lot of these, I've read a lot where people use a similar deal and just use regular lacquer. But the lacquer sanding sealer, never used a sanding sealer before, it works really good at filling grains and stuff like that, so it makes sense that this would work better. We got that thin to 50%, so 50-50 on that. Okay, so that's all there is to it. I will go get a paintbrush, and I'll go ahead and paint this thing on the video too, so we can see what it looks like going on. Obviously we're not going to know until I turn it again how well it stabilized it, made it hard, but we'll put it on there. The other good thing about this stuff dries in an hour, so this should dry in roughly an hour too. So if you need to put a couple coats on it, you can. So we're gonna go get a paintbrush and we'll see what it does. I got my stuff mixed up here. I got a paintbrush. Basically, you just start pouring this stuff on here until it won't soak it up anymore. And that should make this wood hard, and then when I go back to turn it, it'll give me a nice smooth surface. Anyway, that's about it. There's going to be a separate video later of me finishing this bowl out, so watch for that. It'll come out later, but maybe within a week or so of this video posting. And you'll be able to see the final product, see how well it actually works on the lathe though. But anyway, I'm going to keep putting this stuff on until it won't soak it up anymore. And I may let it dry, and that's a good thing, this stuff's dry in an hour. So I may let it sit for an hour and even put a second coat on it, because it's pretty punky right here. I want it to soak as much of it in as I can. So okay, I was going to come back and show you what the finished product. This is the bowl that my finished bowl out of this thing, and it was I put a lot of work in this bowl, because this wood here was really rotted. This was rotted too, not quite as bad as this side. There's some down on the bottom that was rotted. This hole here went all the way down and started going down in the bottom, and I ended up filling some of that in with CA glue and dust and sawdust. But the stuff worked. I mean, you can see right here, I ended up getting a nice finish on this. I got the hole stabilized. It's, it's all hard now. The finish I put on, I ended up putting a tung oil finish with basically a cutting board wax, which is, I think, beeswax, carnauba wax, and a couple different kinds of oil. So it's got a little sheen to it. It's not super shiny like a lacquer finish or anything, but anyway, the stuff worked good. I ended up putting it on 2 or 3 times because this wood was so rotted, but the wood itself was so pretty I couldn't just throw it away. So I mean, you can see that's some incredible grain on that wood. So I think it was worth the work. It was like I said, I put a lot into this bowl, but that wood stabilizer worked really good. And I just want to give a shout out to Jimmy. That's my buddy up the wood shop who showed me that. And like I said before, he said that's a secret, so be sure and don't tell anybody that you saw this. Anyway, I appreciate it, Jimmy, and I appreciate y'all watching. And I said before too, I'd have a video on making this bowl. I'm still having some issues figuring out how to video on the lathe, and they're not coming out very good, so I will not have a video of making this bowl. But anyway, that's the finished product. The stuff works really good. I'm going to do an experiment. I've got some more of this wood. I'm just going to make a test bowl, and I'm going to experiment using a water-based sanding sealer too. I'll have a link down in the bottom if you're interested in the sanding sealer and all the stuff that I use in this video. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe.